Alright, so in this video guys, we are going to kind of state the obvious, how people lose storage units. So I just bought this storage unit. I think it's really important to kind of go over this, even though it may seem basic. As you go on in the course, you're going to find that it gets more advanced as you go. How do people lose storage units? One of the most common cases that people lose storage units is death in the family, guys. So a lot of times people do pass away and the family or friends do not have the contact information on the, at the facility to get contacted when their loved ones lose storage units. So it's very common. People change phone numbers all the time. So let's say somebody had the storage unit for 10 years and had their contacts, on there. Maybe it's old information and the family didn't get wind of it and they lose the storage unit. It happens all the time. And then sometimes too, there's death in the family. And I've had in cases where I bought really great storage units and the family didn't want to pick it up, so they just let it go. And that's very, very common. So one of my best units I ever got, the brother and sister did not want the storage unit after the parents passed away, and it was one of the best storage units I got recently. So that's one of them, guys. Another one is incarceration, or if they go to jail. That's pretty common, guys. So remember, a lot of these facilities will offer a month free or 2 months free, and then people will put their stuff in here as a temporary measure, and then something happens and then they end up going to jail, or they have issues within their life, and that's one of the reasons why a lot of people lose storage units. Another one I want to talk about is addiction. Not necessarily addiction with something wrong and they go to jail, but addiction in the sense that everybody knows they have a bill for storage units and they choose to spend that money elsewhere, okay? So it's very, very common. It could be a gambling addiction, anything like that. Maybe they didn't go to jail, but they have something that they're not spending that money on the storage unit. They'd rather spend it on something else. And that happens a lot. I mean, bills sometimes get pushed aside and people don't want to spend their money on storage units and they end up losing it and they go in the delinquent status. And that's kind of what this did. So also, guys, moving, very common. I actually purchased a unit recently where the parents basically were in New York. The kid was here. He ended up moving to New York, and they both decided to let it go. The parents stopped paying. The kid obviously stopped paying. He no longer lived in the state, and they let it go to delinquency status, and they ended up losing the unit. Another one, guys, is businesses. Very common. So businesses basically rent a lot of storage units. In fact, a lot of businesses rent storage units on the ground level that are drive up to the facility. So when you drive up to a storage unit facility and you see those big outdoor units, a lot of businesses will use those outdoor units for their business. So that's why I love buying outdoor units, because a lot of times you can get an opportunity to buy a business, a construction business, any type of business, a fast food or restaurant business, anything like that. A lot of times they're on the ground level, okay? So we kind of went over it. Death in the family, incarceration, moving, addiction is another one where they just spend their money elsewhere. They've got something else that they'd rather spend it on, and businesses, okay? That's a few ways, probably some of the most common ways that people lose storage units is through those options. And again, it's really important to kind of recognize what you're buying in the pictures, and we'll kind of go over profiling storage units below this course, understanding what's behind these storage units. All right.